So, number 5, as Lourdes has shared with the Wheels of Life, set goals in different domains of your life. So, this is where we look at the depth of our humanness, right? This is where we look at things we want to do in our personal life, in our health life, career, spiritual, family, in your financial goals. I have different domains to support all my goals. And what's cool is when I even start checking off goals, I'm like, oh, I've been focusing a lot of my time in career. Or wow, family's taking up a lot of space, which is great. It's one of my biggest core values. And yet I do have other goals to support me. Run a half marathon, try my first trail run in these Rocky Mountains, meditation, self-care. I have bubble baths in my goals. You guys don't necessarily, a lot of people worry about goal language. Oh my God, it has to sound like a perfect professional goal. Your goals are set so you live the life you want to live. So look at the way you live. Look at what matters most to you. And that's where you set goals in. And have at least 3 areas, 3 domains of your life so you can explore balance and how you're living your whole life. Your whole life. So those are your 5 tips for getting your goals alive. And to recap, set goals from a vision. Write goals in the present tense affirmative. Your goals, not anyone else's. Add a date. That's number 3. Get a date on there so you get into action and we don't do the goals someday, one day. Number 4, clear any limiting beliefs. Say your goal out loud. Write it down. See it and see what happens in your body. What beliefs do you have to support this goal, not block it? And lastly, set goals in many different domains to support your balance.
Awesome, Jacki. Thank you. Those are great. I love it. And it really weaves into what I've been sharing.
Great.
And is great for just anyone who wants to work on just setting I always call it setting the direction of their year. Yeah, because if you're on the right direction and then you're like, okay, by that date, I need to be on that point, it gives you somewhere to go.
Yeah.
So 2 things I wanted to ask you about was this workshop that you're doing here in Chicago at our friend Tracy's studio.
Yes.
So Tracy is a good friend of mine, and she has a studio called Flex, and it's in River West, and you're going to be doing a workshop there. Tell us about it.
Yes, so I lived in Chicago for a bit. My husband's a Chicagoan, so we're coming in for the holidays. And I connected with Tracy to host a goals and gratitude workshop. So it's in that weird time between Christmas Day and New Year's Day where you're like, what do I do with this time? We've been shopping, we've been prepping for the holidays, and now we get to chill out for a minute. And some of us can get into this place, and I know I'm guilty of it, where I'm like, okay, Jacki, what are you going to do for the new year? What's changing? What's coming up? Who are you going to be? And that creates a lot of pressure, I want you to know. And this workshop is all about getting grateful for who you've been, for what you've accomplished already in 2018, as well as your whole life. So you step into 2019 with an air of thankfulness for yourself and others. I know there's this whole notion, Lourdes, of new year, new you. I love a blank slate. I love a new journal. I do. However, I've worked hard. I've worked hard to release a lot of drama and layers in my life and to become who I am. So I want it to be a new year with elements of the parts of myself that I've loved and learned from, and come in grateful and almost graceful to 2019 and setting goals from that grounded space. So that's what we're going to do. We'll use these 5 tips. We'll get grounded in gratitude for ourselves, and we'll set goals for 2019 from a place that isn't reactive but responsible.
I love that. Yeah, I'm so with you on that. So I love the grateful and graceful, and I too, I've been doing this for since November 1st. So it's not about oh my gosh, I have to come up with a resolution. But if we're working on our lives continuously, and I know for you that's it's a process. It's not just goals. It's this is life, and so Yeah, it's like how, in one of my videos, I said, you look at your gas tank on your car. Am I empty? Am I full? Can I get to where I need to go? Like,
Yeah.
we do that in so many other parts. Does my phone need to be plugged in? I've got, I'm on the red. We look at these, meters in every other part of our life. And yet, when it comes to ourselves and our lives, we kind of leave it up to chance. So, yeah, I love that. So tell me about your podcast.
Yes, I'm so excited that you're launching one. So I have a podcast through my co-founded business with Mary Beth LaRue. It's called Rock Your Bliss. The podcast is aptly named the Rock Your Bliss podcast. It's an action, Rock Your Bliss. It's something we have to put effort into. And so we have 6 seasons available. And it's great conversation with change makers and people that are really creating tools for us to access our bliss. So Mary Beth and I have conversations with our each other around boundary setting, around goal setting. We also have interviews with women like Jess Davis on digital detoxing. We interviewed Melissa Hartwig on the Whole30. We interviewed Jana Romer about yoga nidra, which was fascinating. So there's a ton of women that we love and admire that we want to offer to our audience. So the Rock Your Bliss podcast is on SoundCloud and iTunes, and it's a great way to, support your holiday road trips or have an experience in the bathtub with friends, but not really in the bathtub, like preferably in your ears together. So it's
Yeah.
great. And I love that we keep them short. I know you're big on that too. They're intentional. They're all under 30 minutes. So great bursts of bliss when you need it.
Oh, perfect. And then, so I had some goals coaching with you. Tell us what it's like to be a goals coach and what sessions with you are like.
Oh my gosh. I just know, I know that listening, supporting, and providing tools for people is what I've meant to do. And so I know for me, dialing into a call, Lourdes, I get excited. And I also hold your goals so able and root you on when perhaps sometimes you forget or you can't or you have limiting beliefs or self-doubt. And so for me, a session with me is very, I would say, exciting. I always caution people that I'm a bit of an ass kicker. And I think that's choice. Some people want a gentle hug. I'm good at those, but I'm great at a little booty kicking. And so I love real talk. I love getting vulnerable in our goals. And where I listen from is a place that you're offering your gifts. So we get to live in the world where you're creative and your unique offering is clear. And that's what I want my daughters to be looking for in the world. People like you, Lourdes, as well as people like you listening who know your gifts and offer them. And so that's what coaching with me is, really getting clear on blocks, really getting clear on what you want to be doing, and then doing it.
Awesome. Yeah, it was so great. And that was actually the year I started Illumin.
I
So
remember.
I mean, some of those goals I've surpassed, and then some of them I'm still like, they still inspire me. And I think what I got from you working with you was language, as you like, your first tip was just language and listening for just what bigger, like just blowing the top off our current limit of what's possible, and then
Yeah.
just living into it. So having someone work on goals, and that's what I'm sure your workshop's going to be like, and coaching with you is not just like, oh, I can write my own goals, but having a coach who's used to working with language that inspires, keeps you inspired. It's really not just like, I can write my own goals, but
Yeah.
having worked with you, like, I now have a sense of what it's like to write a goal that's actually exciting to live into. Because if you're like, oh,
Well,
I'm gonna make $1,000 or whatever in 1 week, and your goal, like, how would you rewrite that? Like, I'm gonna love what I'm doing and get paid to do what I love. Like, I mean, it's just
yeah.
such a different language.
It is
So,
so rooted in language. I'm so
mhm,
happy that's what you got, Lourdes. I'm sitting here
mhm.
flowing for you, and it was truly so fun to work together and see you be successful and even hear
Mm,
some of the creative endeavors you're working on for 2019. I love seeing people grow and be successful and pivot and live the life that they want to be living without the
yeah.
shoulds or any of the mental drama of blocked beliefs. This is where we all get to be in contribution and connection together. And so
Mm.
I'm very excited for you and I'm grateful for our time together.